Once again, I would like to thank every single one of you for your efforts and congratulate you for job well done. Thank you.
What David said just now in Chinese. 刚才许先生他是也是一个会计师，所以大家都可以放心把钱交给他负责。刚才呢，他主要就是向我们报告，我们整个筹款活动一共筹到超过63万块钱。那么在1月11号之前呢，我们总共有大概是60多万左右。那就可以。
And we were able to use our broadcast in South Asian movies and Chinese movies, as well as our news special, to bring that message out. And through a lot of incentive, I would say, from Paul Lee Chong and others that work at Yihon, we were also able to bring on board our partners at 680 News and the Shopping Channel. And I really want to thank my colleague Melanie Farrell, who also volunteers for the phone line. I think that's an indication of the kind of partnership that through our involvement we were able to bring together. We're very happy and proud to be able to do that. We look forward to being able to work with you in the future, get to know the volunteers and understand how this works, because I think there are many positive applications for the future. And really it was a real pleasure to work with you on this one project, which is really all about one people in the world. Suffering can happen anywhere in the world. It's through communications, we're so fortunate to be able to bring aid in much faster than we were able to do any time in the past history of our civilization, really. So we're just off the home front, of course. So I'm looking forward to hearing about what's happening, really where all the help is being delivered. So looking forward to hearing from Canadian Red Cross Pakistan, because I think that's really where the true story lies. But once again, thank you for inviting us, and thank you for having us here today.
Thank you very much, Renato, for your remarks. Now, throughout our fundraising campaign, we have also gained support from different levels of government and also politicians. And specifically, Mr. Tony Wong, our MPP of Markham, has also extended a lot of support to our campaign. So now I would like to invite Mr. Tony Wong to say a few words to us.
Thank you, Gloria. I want to start by echoing the comments of the Bill speakers before, and it really is so heartening to see our communities, that's blue, coming in together within such a short period of time. Volunteerism and generosity have always been the Canadian way of life, but for such an overwhelming response within such a short period of time, you certainly have made us all proud. And as you know, the Ontario government has supported the federal initiative in a strong way, and I know Premier McGuinty would like me to thank all of you for being so generous, for being so Canadian, for having such a big heart. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tony. I would rather call his first name because he's not a friend. And so next, we would like to invite a few coordinators to share with us, many of the inspiring experiences of volunteers throughout the entire process of fundraising. Because actually during that weekend, the response from our volunteers, from our communities was really overwhelming. And now we would like to, first of all, invite Judy Young, the manager of our Bell Call Center, and also the coordinator of our telephone committee, to share with us some of the interesting and inspiring experience. Judy.
This is another classic example. When Dr. Joseph Wong come out and say something, usually the response is overwhelming. Okay? Instead of 600 volunteers that we expect, which we came up in 6 days, which I think that is a fantastic target, and 1,800 turnout. And at that point, when I opened the door Saturday morning, I thought, oh my God, you know, if the CEO of Bell Canada found out that we have so many people in one roof doing something that we're not, you know, usually we don't open our door for. Unfortunately, we don't do it more often. I thought if he found out about it, I would be in big trouble. And I was praying that nothing bad would happen. Otherwise, I have to turn to Rogers for a job. So anyway, when I, you know, so hundreds and hundreds of people came and I go, what am I going to do with them? I only have 200 lives. You know, I can't accommodate all of them. So we decided to turn it into a fun time. We, you know, I said, why don't you learn a thing or two about Bell Canada? So when my CEO found out what I did, you know, he gave me a big, I don't know what to say, credit or something like that. So now all Bell Canada knew my name because of that. So a lot of good things turned out. In terms of the volunteers, there were times that we broke all records, okay? In 6 days, 1,800 people show, 15 languages, people under one roof. What else? What other records did we break? Of course, 630,000, you know, as a result. And 28,
630.
yes, $630,000. And plus, it's a 28-hour marathon telethon, okay? In which a lot of us were there for 35 hours. That is my weekly, you know, like work hour or explaining it on the weekend. What happened is I taught a lot of really the nice side of the human side. It only took the disaster of this magnitude to bring it all out. And I've seen a gentleman in a wheelchair came to here, you know, to answer the phone for us. And we have seen youth groups. We have seen, of course, different nationalities. It's truly a remarkable example of, you know, like without borders, without religion, races, nationality, age, background, everything. I've spotted doctors, lawyers, you know, like politicians among our volunteers. And there were times that we were not that busy because it's a Sunday morning. You know, of course, we can appreciate that people are doing other things more than, you know, may not be watching TV or listening to radio. Or Sunday afternoon, there are times that we were slow. We decided to turn it into an outbound call center instead of inbound. So we were being very, very creative. We motivate a lot of, especially young people who are very, very gung-ho about performing and doing well, and the spirit of giving is really, truly experienced. So we were saying, hey, you know what, I'm sure you have personal friends and relatives who really want to give, and not just to give it one time. If you call them and tell them that you are in a center collecting money, they will give again. So they take out their personal address, telephone book, and start calling. Guess what? We have people who raise their hand. I got $50. I got 200. I got 500. So it was such an overwhelming response, and we even tried to advertise for only. Don't you know, like, don't do anything, and at 9 o'clock, go watch this program. And then we got a lot of response coming in. And that is truly a remarkable result of people who wanted to do one thing and do it together and do it well. You know, like I can't say more about this. You know, if I have to do it again, I would just say, let's do a whole week telethon. Let's just stop the Scout Call Center for doing business. And, you know, because it was such a wonderful, wonderful, you know, like goal for us to help people who suffer so much in the other side of the world. And of course, with Mr. Jack Layton and Ms. Olivia Child on hand to give us a big boost. And that actually helped to get us, you know, to focus on more about what we're doing, and we're doing best. And the one thing that I got from here is the power of telling the story years to come to my grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Judy, for sharing with us the inspiring experience of all the volunteers. Now next, we would like to invite Eric Lee of the More Donation Collection Committee to share with us some of his experience. As mentioned by Dr. Joseph Wong just a while ago, probably among all the initiatives, the mall donation collection was the most difficult part, because instead of passively waiting at the call center for incoming calls, you have to reach out to our community, ask strangers for money, and that is definitely not easy at all. So now I would like to welcome Eric to share with us his experience.
Actually, we are very lucky that we have all the right people at the right job. They are very self-motivated. Like, they approach people, they can talk to people and ask for donations. It's amazing. So basically, I want to recap what happened that 2 days, and then hopefully you can feel the heat about how we make it. So this is on January 2nd. In the tea room next to here, we start the first organization video. So this is the poster that we used, and it was created in just 3 days. And this is on Wednesday. We have the organization meeting on Sunday, and we have a press conference on Wednesday. We have representative from Red Cross and also representative from Oxfam. Be there. You can see Gory is also the MC here. So we advertised the hotline number, and we all the main organizer. And right at that moment, we already collecting $1,000 from the Tai Chi master.
From his students.
From his students. So basically, you can see it's a mission impossible that we have to organize everything in 4 days. We were able to get 14 locations around GTA. Downtown location, we have Markville Mall, we have Monument Mall, and all around the city. And actually, we have over 200 volunteers, and those volunteers are really gung-ho volunteers. They really can go out and talk to people and ask for donations. And we collected $35,000. It's not a big money compared to the whole group, but I think it's a really significant contribution. I don't think normally we can collect that much in 2 days in the mall. So it's a big thank you, and then I think everybody in the volunteers group should pat themselves on the back for the job well done. So these are the locations that we have. So just a quick recap. So this is at Center Point. You can see all the young people that are helping out. And we happen to have a visitor on the stage. Somebody recognizes it, right? This is at the Dragon City with the volunteers counting the money. This is at Chinatown Center. This is at the new Kennedy Mall. And this is our dinner afterwards. This is our money, not I think this is at the it's also at the Kennedy Center, new Kennedy Mall. So this is at Market Village. This is at the Dragon. I forgot which one. Yeah, Dragon Center. So just a recap. Right? This is after they count the money. They have five. So this is also Chinatown. Oh, that's it. We look forward to work with you guys again. Thank you.
with a child have paid a special visit to our call center to give us their support. And now Jack Layton, who is also the national leader of NDP and also the MP for Toronto Denver, just arrived. So we would like to welcome him to come onto the stage and say hello to us.
Thank you very much, and please excuse this rather bright sweater. It was made by a volunteer also, by the former...
Jack is a few ounces lighter because he has an appendix out a few days ago.
Well, Dr. Wong would know because he's a specialty. He probably knows exactly how much weight I've lost. So I had a chance to visit Ampara in Sri Lanka with the Prime Minister, and also to go to Thailand to see the devastation. And I want you to know that every dollar that you raised went to doing such good work in an area of the world that was so much in need, that seeing it face to face, seeing the children face to face, the seniors looked as if their whole lives, everything they worked for had been lost. The sense of tragedy in their eyes was like something I have never seen ever before. The middle-aged people, they had a sense of sorrow and determination in their eyes. They were interested to meet us, and they were very thankful, but they had to focus on what needed to be done in the rebuilding. The children, they were the ones who bounced back the quickest. In their eyes, there was a light of hope. Even amidst, we were standing by the mass graves with all the white flags. And right beside us was a whole section of the village that had been completely destroyed. This one child came and we said, I said, what's your name? And he said, I think his name was Sri. And they said, well, we're here to help. And he said, I lost my mother and my father. What's your name? So there was that sense of being on the edge of the tragedy, but also wanting to be hopeful at the same time. And Oxfam and Médecins Sans Frontières and the other groups, of course the Red Cross, and our own Canadian service personnel, the DART unit. I was with the DART unit. I think if I'd had my appendix rupture there, they would have taken good care of me. The work that was being done on the ground was miraculous. And the people who were working there with these organizations are doing so at some personal risk, because the control of disease, we weren't sure what was going to be happening. Were we going to be able to control the spread of diseases? Everybody expected a second wave of death, and it didn't happen. And that was because of the work that was done. And it couldn't have been done without the money that you were raising. Standing there in those malls, asking people for money, it's never easy. I noticed, I did a quick math, each volunteer raised an average of $150. That's remarkable in such a short period of time. And that $150 over in Ampara on the coast of Sri Lanka goes a long way. $150. The average annual income in that part of the world is $2.50 a day. So you can imagine what $150 would mean in terms of clean water, food, medical supplies. I want to say one last thing. I think that the experience that we all had has changed the world. Or at least it has the potential to change the world. it's shown us that we can together actually respond to those who are facing needs in our community. I mean, here we are in Ihong. There's another example of how you can respond to the needs in the community. This is a miracle. Except it isn't really a miracle. It's the consequence of determined hard work of so many people. I mean, this is such a wonderful place for seniors. And then to have a youth group working with the seniors. I mean, this is exactly the kind of thing we can do together when we focus on those values that are based on helping one another, working together, deriving joy from it. I remember when we've done our cycle-thons and our run-a-thons and our bake-a-thons and everything that Joseph gets us doing and the whole team. And we derive joy from this. So there's a connection between the joy and the meeting of the needs of others in difficulty who might be in pain that is very, very powerful. And yet at the same time, we have offered to the world a different vision, which is a massive military spending and building up arms and building up the instruments of violence, so much money being spent. And to me, the choice is very, very clear, it's very stark, it is a choice that Stephen Lewis would talk about with AIDS in Africa, described as a tsunami a week. And so I draw great inspiration from all of you volunteers and what you've decided, because you've made a choice as between those two options. And I think the people of the world are ready to make that kind of choice. People in our country are ready to make that kind of choice. And I just thank you, not just because you raised a few dollars that went to help that child who asked me what my name was, wondering how he could, I wondered how he could be so optimistic and upbeat. Well, it was because he could feel the good energy that was coming from your work. And I thank you for that. It's inspiring. And I believe that there's much more that you can all do. And I hope for those of you who, for this might have been the first time, was there anybody here where this was the first time you were volunteering on some fundraising on something like this? Look, they've all volunteered before. So you're the committed ones. I just want to thank you. And thank you for allowing me to be a part of it. And I just came from a skating party in my riding, which is why I'm wearing this rather outrageous but also beautiful shirt. So I'm not dressed like all the formal dignitaries. I hope you don't mind. 各位甲班各位朋友，多謝你，多謝多謝。
Thank you very much, Jack, for sharing your observation in the affected countries with us. And now next, I'm quite sure all of you are very interested in knowing the present status of the affected countries of tsunami disaster, and also the progress of the relief work of Red Cross and also Oxfam there. So today we are very pleased to have representatives from both organizations to share with us the progress report of the relief efforts in these affected countries. First of all, we would like to invite the General Manager of Ontario Zone of Canadian Red Cross, Mr. Moore, to give us his PowerPoint presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maureen, and thank you to all of you for inviting the Red Cross to be a part of your celebration this afternoon and your CTR thank you party. I'd like to be able to thank you in Chinese, but I only know 4 words in Chinese, and I'm going to use them anyway, because I wish you sincerely Dong Hei Fang Choi. December 26, 2003, I received a phone call just before 9 o'clock in the morning telling me that there was a terrible earthquake in Ban, Iran. 1 year later, almost to the minute, I received another call. And right away, I knew something serious had happened somewhere in the world. Because the gentleman who was calling me, the Deputy Secretary General of Red Cross in Ottawa, doesn't typically call me at 9 o'clock on Boxing Day to wish me a happy Boxing Day, as nice a fellow as he is. And I learned of the terrible disaster that had just hit South and Southeast Asia. So I'd like to just have 10 slides I'd like to go through with you to tell you a little bit about the work of the Red Cross and what we will be doing there over the next 10 years. I'm not sure there's going to be any food, so don't worry about that. There were a total of 12 countries affected by this terrible disaster, and fortunately the Red Cross has Red Cross societies in 11 of them. The only one we didn't have a Red Cross society was in the Maldives, and there's one being established there. One of the strengths of Red Cross is because we have 181 societies worldwide, one in each of 181 countries, the people in those countries are able to respond immediately. So people in the 12 countries affected, Red Cross volunteers were able to mobilize immediately and start providing help to their fellow countrymen. We also have the International Committee of Red Cross, ICRC, which operates in areas of conflict. And the ICRC was already in at least 3 of the 12 countries because of the wars that have been going on there, the conflict over the past 15 to 20 years. And so they immediately turned their effort to disaster relief as well. So that's how the Red Cross operates as far as responding quickly to a disaster. We are all too familiar with the numbers now. 2 million people displaced. And like Mr. Layton, our Secretary General from the Canadian Red Cross and our Special Ambassador, David Pratt, who's the former Minister of National Defense in Canada, have both been over to Sri Lanka and India, and David Pratt was in Thailand as well. And everyone that I have heard from who's been over there has come back with the same message. No matter what you've seen on TV, no matter how bad you think it is, you can't comprehend it until you've been there and seen it. Someone else already mentioned the fact that there was concern about a second disaster, and that being the immediate spread of disease due to people not having clean drinking water. Fortunately, I think the aid organizations and governments were able to provide drinking water, water purification tablets, and water sanitation teams very quickly. And so far that we know of, there's been no serious outbreak of disease. There's been some little bits here and there, but no serious outbreaks such as were feared. Initially, our role was to provide shelter, food, and medical assistance. And from Canada, we sent 5 airplane loads. 4 of those were sent in cooperation with the Department of National Defense through CEDA, Canadian International Development Agency, from Trenton and from Pearson Airport, and supplies like water purification equipment and water purification tablets, as well as food and things, personal kits like toothpaste, toothbrush, soap, face cloth, towel, kinds of things that you need just to survive, along with items such as cooking utensils, plastic sheeting, mosquito netting, and those types of things. In total, the Red Cross sent 27 plane loads, Canadian Red Cross, but many of those were from other countries. The flights originated in other countries where we were able to buy supplies at bulk quantities at reasonable prices. This is a program many people aren't aware of that operates under the Red Cross, and that's Restoring Family Links. When there's a disaster such as this, people in all countries want to know. We have received thousands of phone calls in Canada to our branches of the Canadian Red Cross asking about loved ones in the 12 countries that were affected. And one of the functions we perform is to register victims, and they can put their names on our website, which you see at the bottom, www.familylinks.icrc.org, and their family members can connect with them and ensure that they're safe and well. In addition to the supplies we shipped, which I mentioned, and it shows here 200 metric tons in total from Canada, as of February the 8th, Canadian Red Cross raised $147 million, and that's from individuals and corporations. We have never seen a response like this. The International Federation of Red Cross, with the federation of the 181 societies worldwide, it's the largest response they've ever managed. And other people have already mentioned it, but I'll mention it again because it was so impressive. It had such impact on our staff and volunteers. The fact that people of all ages, a 6-year-old little girl in Woodstock who drew a painting of the world, the map of the world, with loving hearts surrounding it, to show the caring of Canadians, and put it on eBay and sold it for $10,000. And 6-year-old and 7-year-old children coming into our 60 locations in Ontario and emptying their piggy banks on the counters of the Red Cross office. It's very heart-wrenching. And from that all the way to the likes of Mr. and Mrs. Pindoff. Mr. Pindoff is the 89-year-old owner of Music World, who wrote a check for $5 million to the Red Cross. So it's been people of all ages, all religions, all nationalities coming together because people wanted to help. And our hope is, someone asked a few minutes ago, Jack Layton, I guess, asked how many volunteered for the first time. It's our hope, there have been so many new donors donating to an international disaster for the first time. And it's our hope that they will now have an awareness of the great need in so many places in the world to help. We have challenges, as I'm sure Oxfam do, in raising money for places like Darfur, Sierra Leone, Haiti. This response was phenomenal. And we sincerely hope that there's a whole new group now of donors who have the awareness and will support these other projects, which have such great need as well. I should also mention the last point there, to give governments their due. The Canadian government and provincial governments across the country donated $19.3 million. And that's just what was donated through the Canadian Red Cross. We send about $60 million to the Canadian Red Cross through the International Federation of Red Cross Societies for immediate relief for some of the kinds of things I've already named that are part of the immediate relief operation. It's important that money reach its destination as quickly as possible in a situation like this to give people basic survival needs, clean water especially, drinking water. And all money donated through Red Cross goes through the Red Cross network, never through a third party or a government. So all of the money that we sent, over $60 million, went through the International Federation of Red Cross, and from there directly to the Red Cross societies in the affected countries. I had a sheet from a CTV news item talking about a city in Sri Lanka that had received cases of used clothing. And it doesn't work, unfortunately. This article talked about ladies' high-heeled stiletto, black shoes, a sequin evening dress, and believe it or not, 6 boxes of Viagra. I'm not sure how people think that would help in a disaster, but while people have wonderful intentions of helping and providing clothing, there are cultural differences that need to be understood, and the quickest way to provide relief is through donations. And of course, that's what you folks participated in, and it's so much appreciated. Because money can get there instantly, it can be used to buy the supplies and relief items that are needed immediately. Canadian Red Cross received donations from more than 2 million individuals. We have 30 trained delegates already over in the 12 countries. And our Ontario's own Director of Public Affairs, Pamela Davey, is there now in Sri Lanka and will be there for about 3 weeks. We've also sent a team of 7 people to set up a Canadian Red Cross office in Colombo, Sri Lanka, and from there they will look at establishing some satellite offices in Sri Lanka and possibly in Indonesia, from which we will run the projects that we'll be involved in over the next 10 years. The projects that we'll be involved in are things like rebuilding schools, hospitals, orphanages, houses, and perhaps the fishing industry. The fishing industry is so vital to the local economy of those countries that we see a big value in perhaps helping them build factories to build fishing boats, to make fishing nets and that sort of thing. It's interesting, we received a $1.1 million donation from the Canadian Auto Workers Union, and after the presentation, their president, Buzz Hargrove, told me that in the Maritimes in Canada, I believe it's in Nova Scotia, Canadian Auto Workers have a fishing union, and how meaningful it would be if there could be donations to the fishing industry in these countries. David Pratt and I, our special ambassador, attended a meeting coordinated by the Canadian Tamil Congress, and they had individuals presenting various projects that they're involved with in Sri Lanka, and one of them was rebuilding the fishing industry. So there are several tie-ins here, and the Sri Lankan community in Canada has been most supportive of Red Cross, and I'm sure of the other charities as well, in helping us to help their native countrymen. So, in the end, we want to thank all of you for the outstanding contribution you have made. And I have plaques that I would like to present to 3 individuals. And one I know is not here because she just left in the last couple of days for Hong Kong. But I understand that Mrs. Pun is not here, is that correct? And is there someone who can accept a plaque on her behalf?
I think Paul needs to accept it on
we are presenting, and this is for Ellen Pun, who I understand did an outstanding job and coordinated a lot of fundraising with the Chinese community. We're indebted to her, and we thank you. And as donors came in the door and sat down and made donations, and I was introduced to 3 people from Omni Television. So we did an interview on the spot, and I've seen Omni Television in so many cases since then at the Japanese-Canadian Cultural Center at a multicultural fundraising day, working with you folks on the fundraising effort on the telethon. They've just done an outstanding job, and I'd like to ask one of the several representatives from Omni to come forward and receive a plaque. The Red Cross thanks you sincerely for all the work you've done. I look forward to working with you in the future as well.
And those who are not able to come today, it really is a teamwork. Thank you.
Lord, for your nice report on the relief efforts in the affected countries. Now next, we would like to invite 2 representatives from Oxfam, Canada to come forward to present the progress report of your efforts in the affected areas. We have Nicole Salmon and also Dwight Peters. Dwight is the Manager of the Fundraising and Communications of Oxfam, Canada.
The stuff you really want to see is on the video. So I had a little bit of a speech that I'm going to just synopsize because some excellent points have been made by Gordon and Jack Clayton about some of the other things that have been going on with regards to the relief effort. But there were some points that I wanted to make and emphasize based on what people have talked about. Before I do that, I did want to thank CGR for inviting us here today, for making us a part of this effort to fundraising effort and the ongoing effort. This is an absolutely amazing thing that you're doing. I've been fundraising for about 10 years, and when I hear about all the work that's been done, the hours that you've put in, the fact that you've done it in about 2 weeks, you probably, 6 days, even better. You really feel very proud of yourself because you've almost done the impossible. The tsunami was an unimaginable tragedy, and your response has been almost an unimaginable response. So thank you very much to all the volunteers, the organizations, to the CTR, to Colleen, to Gloria, to Dr. Wong, because what you've done is just absolutely amazing. A couple points I did want to point out though. With regards to disaster relief and development overseas, it's usually a 2 or 3 step process. And what we're through right now is probably a first importance step, and that is the relief stage. And that is where you get in there as fast as you can. You try and get water to people, you try and get shelter to people, you try to prevent disease. And that's a very important stage. That's also a stage usually where most people focus on. You're going to see a lot of video, some of it handheld over there. There's a ton of information out there. But the development effort doesn't stop there. When the relief stage ends, the redevelopment stage and reconstruction stage begins. And that is a very important stage. So as you approach the situation yourself and think about relief and development as a 2-step process, and a lot of the hard work is only beginning. And your donations are going to continue to work through that other stage as well. I guess the other point I would like to make is I think it was Jack Layton that made it about there's a tsunami every week. I think one of the things that we've really been able to do by creating this awareness about what's going on over there is that things are different in other countries than they are in Canada, and that there's a bigger role for Canadians and North Americans and people in the West to play in the developing world on an ongoing basis. So your volunteerism, your effort, your impact, your ability to raise awareness of these issues in Canada is huge because there's just so much work to be done. I think one word that I've heard, or term that really sums it up well is it's one world. We're not living in the West, the East, the South, the North. We are in one interrelated world. And things remind us of this. The tsunami reminds us of this. Global warming reminds us of this. Famine, things like that remind us of these things. So this is a lot of the work that you've done is how to create this atmosphere of a one world. And that is something that will continue to benefit people in Canada and around the world for a long time.
Nicole's wonderful speech. I fully agree with Nicole's comment that there's a lot we can do to stop human suffering in different parts of the world. And as a matter of fact, in our recent evaluation meeting, under the leadership of Dr. Joseph Wong, and a lot of organizations participating in the recent telethon have expressed interest in continuing with our efforts and also in future, and also to extend our compassion and concern to silent calamities that have been going on in different parts of the world. So we do hope that we can continue with this kind of positive spirit of voluntary service, and we will also be able to do more in the future to help stop human suffering. Now, lots of more, we would like to, we have actually on the other table, we have prepared a lot of plaques today to show our appreciation to a great number of organizations who have dedicated the time, contributed the part to the success of our recent telethon. And first of all, I would like to invite our chair, Dr. Joseph Wong, and also Jack Layton to come forward to the stage and help us present the plaques to some of the organizations. We would like to invite Rogers Media and Only Television to come forward to receive your plaque. to represent Allen's Food Group Inc. Next, we would like to invite Representative Judy Young to receive the flag on behalf of Bell Canada and also Pacific Lakes Communications Limited. Judy is indeed a dynamite.
Again, on other valuable missions. Okay? Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Judy. Yeah, thank you very much, Jack. Okay, thanks a lot for coming, Jack. And next, we would like to invite the other executive committee members to come forward, namely Mr. Lawrence Yu, who is the president of CPAC, the Chinese Professionals Association of Canada. Mr. C. Ching Wang, who is the president of Canadians concerned about ethnic violence in Indonesia. And also Mr. David Hui, who is the president of Rotary Club of York. They are all executive committee members of CTR. We would like to Lawrence Yu to present the flag to TD Bank, TD Canada Trust. Anita Chan. TorontoTv has helped us to broadcast the entire telethon campaign on the website TV. Next, we would like to invite Grace Chen of Toronto Chinese Radio to come forward. Is Grace here? Oh, just step up. Okay, we'll. Mr. Wu from welcome. Thank you very much, Mr. Wu. Next, we would like to present a flag to Sound of Hope Radio Canada, represented by Ms. Lulu Low. Thank you very much. Next one is Mr. Randy Rowett from Rich Radio Oakville. Dave Lear and Mrs. Lear from Kampong Pool, which is a Malaysian radio.
This is very special. Thank you so much. 谢谢你。
It shows how multicultural we are. It really takes joint effort to make it happen, to make a successful telethon happen. Next, we would like to invite Quick Motions Limited, represented by Ms. Amy Lam. Amy Lam CNC York Region Chapter. She is also in charge of the mall at New Kennedy Square, and they scored the highest score of donations among all the malls. They are the champion for the 2 days of mall donation collection. Congratulations. Yeah, so that's all. Have we missed out any?
Amazing event, amazing effort, and a good afternoon. I hope you have enjoyed this afternoon. I enjoyed very much because I saw so much generosity from all of you. We have heard one world. We have heard one people, one big family. And many of you listened and heard about other calamities around the world. The cooperation, the teamwork, the spirit that we work together is not going to be wasted. It is not going to, for one disaster and then we dispersed. As suggested, we are organizing into a not very formal coalition, but we are going to respond to disasters around the world, helping very worthy organizations such as the Red Cross, the Oxfam, and other organizations to deal with human suffering. I have restaurants donating food for your lunch, and you know that there's no free lunch. There's always a catch there, but I am sure that I can count on all of your selfless spirit to contribute to humanity, and it's because of your generosity, your concern for humankind, that you contribute so much of your time, so much of your effort and your money to make sure that this continues to be a beautiful world for ourselves, for our future generations. So I want to thank you very much, and I would like you to stay behind. There is a little reception here and some very nice food. There's jerk chicken, I believe, and curry, lamb, and Chinese fried rice. So it's also multicultural, from the Caribbean, from the East and the West, and everything. So stay behind, enjoy yourself, and we would see you some other time. We'll work together. I think that you would want to work together with us in the future to make sure that we deal with the human suffering. Thank you very much.
We forgot to mention that there are actually close to 30 media organizations, mall management corporations, as well as restaurants and associations who have donated either food or free PSA to our Telethon initiative. Since there's such a long list, so I'm not going to mention all of them one by one. But definitely all of the names are posted on our website. So you're most welcome to go to the Yihang website /CTR and get hold of the information there. And we will also deliver all the prize to them personally to show our appreciation of the great support. Thank you so much. Thanks again. It's your effort that made our telethon a great success. Thank you all.